Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katie for those who have for some reason forgotten, and this is Brooks Russ. And basically what I'm doing is a TBR according to my DNA. So Books and Lala did this a while ago, and I thought it was really interesting. I did a DNA test a few years back and got the results, and the results have kind of changed since then. Which is kind of explainable because they've gotten more data. So they've gotten more data from my family. My sister's done it. Both my parents have done it. Both my grandmothers have done it. So they've been able to kind of hone where I'm at, where's my DNA is at from there. They've also gotten more samples. So they have like twice as many samples as they had a few years ago when I did my DNA test. So let's get started. I found that most of my DNA is from northwestern Europe. So I will put a picture here of where I'm from. And don't worry if you didn't get that, because I will be going through all of the books and where they're coming from. So the first book that I am going to be talking about is from Wales, and that is called The Crystal Cave by Mary Stewart. Basically, it's about Merlin. As you can see here, it's a series, but I will only be reading the first one. It's book one of the Arthurian saga. It's been on my list for a while, like 2-3 years now. So I'm glad I'm finally picking this up and reading it because it sounds really interesting. I am into kind of like the Merlin stuff. If you want another suggestion for Merlin, try T.A. Barron. He's a good author for all of the like a childhood for Merlin, kind of middle grade stories. The next one is from Ireland, and that is A Treasury of Irish Fairy and Folktales. I don't know who it's by, honestly. It's not giving me a author. It just says that it was published by Barnes & Noble. It is, you can kind of see the really nice covers on here, hardcover, very nice. But I don't know a lot about Irish folk and fairy tales, so I'm really interested to read more about this because from my own experience, I haven't read a lot of these, and I haven't seen a lot in pop culture, so it should be really interesting. I'm interested in reading this. The next book I have is from Scotland, and it is called Enter Three Witches by Caroline B. Cooney. Basically, it's about it's a Macbeth retelling. So you know Macbeth from Shakespeare, the cursed play. It's basically a retelling of that, and yeah, it focuses on 14-year-old Lady Mary, until that has nothing to fear until her father betrays the king and is hanged as a traitor. So it should be interesting. I feel like I've read Caroline B. Cooney before. I just don't remember which one. But I remember that I have liked it in the past. So that's this one. And for England, the last one in the UK, I am going to be reading Mary Poppins. I am sad to say that I have never read Mary Poppins before by P.L. Travers, but I always liked the movie growing up, and I haven't seen the new movie, honestly, but I'm not sure if I will because Julie Andrews is like my Mary Poppins, so I don't know, like, I'm sure Emily Blunt did great and fabulous, but at the same time, I don't want to ruin my picture of Julie Andrews' Mary Poppins, so I'm not sure, but basically, if you don't know what this is about for some reason, it's basically about Mary Poppins, who is a nanny for these two kids, and she does all of this fantastical stuff, and no one, um, fantastical stuff with the kids. And when the kids try to tell parents, they aren't believed. It should be interesting to see the read the book that was the inspiration for the movie. Now we're going into your another island actually, and that is Sweden. And for Sweden, I have um, a man called Uwe, I think it's pronounced, by Frederick Backman. Again, actually, this is one of the ones that wasn't. Was it the only one? No. One of like three books on this list that I've never actually put on my TBR. Never been interested in it. But when I searched Sweden on Google, Sweden books, this came up. I'm like, oh, I might as well give it a try because I know it was really popular about 2 years ago. And I know a few people still checking it out. But basically, um, it talks about Uwe and his life and um, how his normal life is interrupted when a couple moves in next door who's really chatty and young. So that should be interesting. I'm really interested in reading this finally. Well, for the first time because it's never been on my TBR. Anyways, moving on. Now we're into kind of central, not central, but continental Europe. That's what we call it. Continental Europe, with France being my next country on the list. And I am going to be reading The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. I'll take this out because I don't need that. It was a library book, so it was telling me when it was due. So here's the book. Very nice. Again, another one that's been on my list for years. I just haven't gotten around to it. What I find interesting is that it's words. So we have, these words, but we also have pictures. So I'm interested on seeing how those work together to create the story of the invention of Hugo Cabret. I'm not exactly sure what it's about, but it's on my list and I've heard great things. Let me see. Orphan, clock keeper, and thief, Hugo lives in the walls of a busy Paris train station, where his survival depends on secrets and anonymity. Um, but when his world suddenly interlocks, like the gears of the clock he keeps, with an eccentric bookish girl and a bitter old man who runs a toy booth in the train station, Hugo's undercover life and his most precious secret are put in jeopardy. That sounds really interesting. I'm glad it was on my TBR for so long, and I didn't get rid of it because it sounds really interesting, and I'm really interested to see where it goes from there. Now, the next one I have is from Switzerland, and that is Heidi by Johanna Spyri. This is about an orphan, Heidi, who is sent to live with her grandfather in the Alps, and kind of what happens. So I feel like this is kind of Anne of Green Gables-ish, in the sense like it's an orphan going off to be being sent off to someone who's not expecting her, and kind of upturns her life, or both their lives. I saw the movie few like 15 years ago when I was younger. I just don't remember it a lot, if any. Yeah. But this is this book, and I am interested to see what happens with that. This was one of the ones that hasn't been on my TBR, This was one of the three, along with A Man Called Juve, that was never on my TBR, but I'm glad that I will be finally reading it. Now the next one I have is actually a graphic novel, I think, yes, and that is The Adventures of Tintin from Belgium. And let me get the first one out here. There we go. Take out the date. So this is number 1, Adventures of Tintin, by Hergé. That's all I'm saying as the author, Hergé. Let me see if I can find a better. Yeah, that's all it says for the author. So I have 1, 2. Let me see, 2 and 3 volumes. Will I read all 3? I don't know. Maybe because they're graphic novels, easy to get through. It'll be kind of nice. But as you've been seeing, I have a lot of books on this TBR, and I'm not even done yet. I'm almost done. But that was the last one that wasn't on my Goodreads TBR at all. But again, interesting to read that. My next one will be from the Netherlands, and that is, let me take that off, The Diary of Anne Frank by Anne Frank, or with kind of a German accent, it's Anne Frank. I did this play back in high school. Why I didn't read this book, I'm not sure. I should have read it because it's cool, but this is also, this is from the Netherlands, but it's also for my book club in May, so next month. So hence why I'm kind of holding off on this one till closer to the book club date, so I don't forget anything. But if you don't know what this is about, it's true story, actual diary of Anne Frank, and it talks about her living in the basically an attic with her family, hiding from the Nazis during World War II. The next one I have, I don't have the book for yet. It's on my holds for the library, and that is I Am the Messenger by Marcus Cusack, who wrote the Book Thief. This one's from Austria. Another, I know that the Book Thief is World War II. I don't know what I Am the Messenger is. So this book is about Ed Kennedy, and who's an underage cab driver without much of a future. He's just doing his life, and then he gets a message, and it kind of changes his life because it then makes him the messenger for this person or group. He's just trying to find out who it is. But that's I Am the Messenger. The next book on my list, I also don't have a copy. I'm waiting for it from the library. It's called The Expats. It's the first in a series by Chris Pavone. And it's about this woman, Kate, who's struggling to make ends meet, raising kids, keeping her marriage alive, hopefully, and to keep a secret. So they moved to Luxembourg and try to start anew, and then something happens, which I don't know. Oh, yes, I do. Sorry, I'm reading Goodreads right now, if you can't tell. Another American couple arrives, and Kate is suspicious of who they are and who they say to be. So that's The Expats. Again, I don't have a copy here, but I am waiting for it from the library. That's okay because I have several books before that. I have a lot of books before that, actually. So the next one I have is from the Czech Republic, and that is The Golem by Gustav Meyrink. There's that. Now, this is a very popular Jewish story. It's about a Jewish rabbi who wants to protect his town from the police, I believe, and creates this golem, which is basically, if you don't know what a golem is, not Gollum, Gollum's Lord of the Rings. Golems are like mud men who have like this little talisman in their mouth that keep them alive. And so this Jewish rabbi creates this golem to protect the town and kind of what happens after that. I've read like kids versions of this before, but I actually haven't read like the full version. So I'm really interested in reading that. Now, the last one on my list is actually a trilogy, and I'm planning on, as of now, I'm planning on reading all three. It could change, but I've been wanting to finish this series for a while. It was actually in my series I need to finish video that I did earlier this year, and that is the Inkheart trilogy. I'll take that off. Another due date slip. That's the Inkheart trilogy by Cornelia Funk. I'll leave that there. I won't show the other two because they're also a little hefty. But basically, it's about a girl and her father, because her mother is dead, has passed. And it's about a girl and her father who is a bookbinder. And it starts off with a man coming to their door one night, and her father tells the man that he can't be there. You know, they're friends, but that he doesn't want to put his daughter in danger. That starts the story off for all three books. Very interesting. I liked the first one. I believe I read the second one, but I don't remember. But I definitely haven't read the third one, so I'm interested in reading that. But that's all of the books I have. If you've lost count, I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books on that list. Now that's not including sequels. So for like Tintin, I only counted one of them, and then Inkheart, I've only counted one of them. So, including those four, I said I had 13, so 17 books total. That's a lot of books. So some of them I might switch up when I read them, but what I want to do is keep like all the UK books together. So I'll read all the UK books first, but then after that, like within the UK group, I will keep them together. Like I can mix them up. So like I did Crystal Cave first, like in this list, but I might want to read Mary Poppins or Enter Three Witches first. So I'll change that how I see fit. But that's all of the books I have. Bye. Hey everyone. It is editor Katie. A few days later because I filmed this a few days ago. Just realized that I didn't wrap up as well as I should have. It's been kind of a busy week for me, but basically, definitely follow along. I initially wanted this to be a longer video, but it's long enough already, where I talked about the different books I've read, but I will do those in wrap-ups for a later time and just put this one up because it's almost 20 minutes already, and I know that sitting through this is a little boring sometimes, so I will leave you with this. Comment below with what your favorite book in this list is, which ones are you interested in reading, and I will see you guys later. Peace out, everyone. Bye.